Ohio State, Loyola, Chicago. What do you make of your Buckeyes here, Maul? Now, the opener, to paint the scene here, Loyola -2, Loyola -1, or 1.5, depending on where you shop. We have now seen this really shift. Loyola just laying 1 or a pick in some spots with a total of 133.
Yeah, I think the Buckeyes are in a little bit of trouble here. When you look at this team, they've really struggled down the stretch. That's been the biggest concern. Yeah, they lost that home game against Michigan, collapsed in the second half. But I thought they had another bad collapse against Penn State in the Big Ten tournament. They get wiped out on the road in College Park against Maryland. We see Iowa come in on a Saturday and beat them by 13. The defense has been the problem for the Buckeyes of late. They've got to get better on that end. If they can do that, they've got a shot against this Loyola team. Valentine's team got off to a terrific start during the regular season in the Missouri Valley, but then down the stretch they faltered a little bit. They did have a nice turnaround in conference tournament. But to me, JVT, I think this team is dangerous. But the question for me is, from a defensive standpoint, who's necessarily going to slow down Liddell? And does Malachi Brandon, who's been dealing with a little bit of an injury, can he be as efficient? I like this Ramblers team. I think it's a complete toss-up. Tough game to call, but if you're taking Loyola, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, that's where I was looking. Ohio State, you mentioned it, not really impressive. 1-4 straight up and against the spread their last 5 games. Defense, what happened to the defense? Average defensive rating during that 5-game stretch, 115.8. And we're talking about Nebraska and Penn State in those matchups that you mentioned.
Yeah, well, they saw the Buckeyes football team not playing a defense. Yeah. They figured, why do we need to?
Yep. What's interesting here, too, Loyola Chicago, I think initial thought, because you remember that tournament run, people might think Loyola Chicago, big front court, all this. This is very much a small ball team, man. Like, they're talking about the tallest defender or tallest player. They only have 2 guys on this roster taller than 6'7", and their starting lineup, we're talking about 6'4" to 6'7" across the board.
Look, if it were last year's team with Clayton Krutwig, I think they would destroy Ohio State.
Yep.
I think without that size on the interior, we saw Kofi Coburn really struggle along with Desunmu in that matchup last year. But to me, this is a pretty good matchup if you're both teams. I think they both have to feel like they can get out of the first round here.
Get prepared for all the madness with VSiN's tournament betting guide, daily best bet emails, plus full access to VSiN through April 5th for only $19 at VSiN.com/madness.